Hey, Candace.
Hey, what's going on? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Exactly. It's the third Wednesday, and here we
Yes,
are.
here we are. I'm excited. I'm really excited
Absolutely. Me
about this one.
too. We have a
Yeah, it's
great
been great.
conversation to have today. This is going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
While we're talking about obviously an important
Yeah.
topic, we get a chance to join energies with Danielle Monet Truitt,
Yes.
the amazing actress, producer,
Triple
uh, all those different
threat. She's
things.
all the things.
All of those
Yes,
things,
she
all of those things.
is.
Yeah. So, Candace, I'm going to let you, if you want to just kind of share with, the folks in the room what we have been doing over the past few weeks. I'm going to invite Danielle in, and then we'll just
Yes.
kind of go from there. And
So
Danielle, I'm sorry, Danielle, if
mental.
you're listening, if you want to just give us a quick little invite so we can bring you in the room.
All right, cool.
Hmm.
So the last 2 weeks has been so amazing. We've had Okema T Moore join us. We've had Dr. TK join us
Hmm.
and really navigating this intersection between mental health and entertainment and speaking about strategies of how to stay sane, how to
Hmm.
stay well, how to prioritize your mental health, especially being in an industry where it has unique stressors.
Hmm.
How do you center yourself as a human being and not lose yourself with the hustle and bustle of being in the industry? So, Dr. TK opened us up, giving us some of those strategies, right? Those tools, those practical tools
Hmm.
to help persons in the industry. But the thing that I love about these lives is it's not just for those that are in the industry, right?
Hmm.
It's being
Indeed.
able to say, how can I take this information and apply it into my day to day of how I prioritize my mental health and how I take care of myself.
Indeed.
So each week has been amazing, and I believe tonight is going to be just as amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have Danielle in the room. I'm going to invite her in. I see I can throw her an invite. I just sent you an invite, Danielle. Let me make sure that was Danielle. Uh, no, it was not. Danielle, I am now sending you an invite. Awesome. All right. So yeah, and you'll learn as Danielle comes on. Hey, Danielle, how you doing?
Hey,
Hi.
how
It's
are
good to
you?
see
It's
you.
so good seeing your beautiful face again.
You guys too.
Yeah,
So good seeing you guys. Thanks for having me.
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, we're on to our third IG live for the month of Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're just elated to be here with you to talk about this important topic in the realm of entertainment.
Yeah.
We know that it's important, not just in entertainment, just in everyday life, but of course, we're putting a special lens on entertainment. So thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Danielle, if you don't mind, so what we usually do is we bring someone in the room, we introduce them, read their bio. So I'm going to read your bio. And then we just kind of jump into a few questions and then we just kind of go from there. You ready for it?
Yep,
Awesome.
I'm
Let's,
ready.
let's go for it. Danielle Monet Truitt, a Sacramento native and a true triple threat, actor, singer, and dancer. Studied theater and dance at Sacramento State University. Before launching her television and film career in Los Angeles, she stars as a series regular on Law and Order: Organized Crime as Sergeant Ayanna Bell. I hope I said that correctly. Did I?
Yeah,
I got that right?
you
All right,
did.
perfect, perfect,
Yes.
perfect. She is also the lead actress in our now award-winning short film Laundry, which will debut at American Black Film Festival on June 12th. Uh, Truitt's her roots are in theater, with an acclaimed performances in the Mountaintop, Dreamgirls, and her self-produced one-woman show Overnight Success, and three Black Girl Blues. All right, now. She's appeared on TV in Super Fun Night and Milani. Is that Mulaney? Is that
Lady.
correctly?
Hmm.
Okay, all right. And made history contributing to video reference and voice work for Disney's Princess and the Frog. I didn't know you did that.
I did.
That's pretty
I
cool. That's
was
one of my
video
daughter's
reference for
favorites.
Princess Tiana. I'm her essence.
I love it. I love it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Danielle Monet Truitt. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Happy to be here, especially
Yeah,
for this very important conversation.
absolutely. I want to, if you don't mind, I just want to kind of share with folks um, something that was pretty cool. I was working through Instagram like we all do, and there was an episode of your podcast that you have,
Mhm.
and it was an interesting topic. As I'm watching, simultaneously, I look up at the screen, and organized crime is on, and so I'm watching. I'm like, oh wow, this is interesting, and I'm just watching your skill set and everything that's involved. And I said to myself, I said, hey, I want to see if there's going to be a way for us to work together, and I don't know if you remember this, but I reached out, and I was like, hey, listen, we're going to connect somewhere along the way. Just be ready. And
That's it.
in less than a year, we were able to connect and put together. She did an amazing job on laundry. I can't
Yes,
wait
she
for the world
did.
to see it. Yeah.
Amazing.
So
Can't wait
just
to see it.
excited.
I'm excited to see it.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's amazing. You're gonna love it. Laundry are written and produced by Alteric Miller, directed by Okima Moore. I had a chance to work along with both of them, and such a wonderful cast. And yourself, and Tobias Trevelyan, and Aaron, and Arlene, and Lamar K. Chesson. The list goes on and on. And of course, we had Candace there as
Yes.
the production therapist. So it was an amazing experience, and we just loved having you here. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I love that project, and the environment and the spirit on set was so great. It was just you guys created a great atmosphere for us to do some good work and to give that project what it needed, to
Mhm,
come to life, because that story, for those of you, that don't know or
mhm,
whatever, it's kind of a true
mhm,
story. And,
mhm,
Alteric was very brave and putting it in our hands. So,
mhm.
yeah, I just appreciate it. I loved working with you guys, and love that you had a therapist on set. That's right up. I was like, oh, this is brilliant. Like, that's right up my alley. So I
Yeah.
had me a conversation. I said, let me take advantage of this therapist being on
She
set.
did. She did. And
Yeah,
I want to actually start there because you
yeah.
talk about the
Mhm,
spirit that was created on set,
mhm,
right? And one of the things I was just talking to Wink about is really creating healthier sets, right?
mhm,
And you said something key when you said when you think about the spirit of the set, when the set is healthy, it makes your job easier,
mhm,
right? It makes your job easier. So talk to us about your
mhm.
journey being in the
Yeah.
industry and how you've had to prioritize your mental health being on sets that may not have been as
Mm,
easy.
Yeah. Well, as Wink said, I started off in theater, and
mhm,
theater is a different type of environment, but it's still one that requires. Why is somebody knocking on my door? Like, nobody ever comes to my house, and now somebody wants to knock on my door.
They
I'm
want to be
sorry.
a
One
part
second.
of the live.
I cannot talk. What's going on? I'm sorry. I'm in the middle of something right now. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm on. Okay. One second. Oh my God. I'm so sorry, guys.
It's
I
No,
just
okay.
you're
bought.
good. You're
It's
good.
I just
it's
bought
okay.
this house,
In
and
the
I guess.
meantime, we just want to acknowledge some of the people in the room
So sorry.
there
Is this
that has
you?
joined
Is
us.
this you? Is that it?
Nicole Baskin, how you doing?
That's it.
Nicole.
We see
Okay.
Kendra,
It was out there.
Hill
That's it. That's
People,
all.
See Different,
Okay. Thank you.
Katasha Holly, Loretta Wilson. Yeah, we're
Sorry.
just calling out some of the people in there.
Oh
Thank you
no, you're
guys. Thanks
good.
for
It's
joining
okay.
us.
You're good.
Hmm.
Sorry. I'm like, of course that happens when I'm in the middle of doing something. Uh okay, so yeah, started off in theater.
Mhm.
Theater is a completely different experience than being on a set, but it's still, you're working and you're engaged with people for an extended part, like extended amount of time, and there's different personalities and there's pressures that come with, putting on a play, and you don't get to do take after take after take, so when
Right.
you're in those kind of environments, having the pressure on you to perform,
Hmm.
period, it puts a weight on you,
Mhm.
and depending on how competitive, it was to get the audition, and how competitive people are in your cast, that can add another weight,
Hmm.
where there's always that critic
Hmm.
that's back here, like even when you're trying to just be committed to your role and enjoy and be in the moment, you always have that
Mhm.
critic that's like, you're not as good as you think you are, or you really don't belong here. You know,
Mhm.
the
That
imposter
negative
syndrome.
self-talk.
Yeah, and the imposter syndrome sets in, you know. Um, and so transitioning from theater to film and television, or transitioning honestly from Sacramento to LA, I
Mhm.
think that was the first time that my self-esteem and my mental health was challenged, because when I
Mm.
was in Sacramento, you know, Sacramento is not a small town, but it's definitely not LA, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
And in Sacramento, you know, I was the best of the best here, you know. And so you go
Mhm.
to LA and everybody's the best of the best. We all were the best where we
Mhm.
were. And we all
Mhm.
came to LA, you know, for an opportunity. And then to add on top of that is being a black woman and being
Yes.
a being a brown skinned black woman in
Mhm.
2006 when I moved to LA was much different than how it is
Mhm.
now. You know,
Mhm.
they were not, there was not a lot of opportunities for us that were kind of on the darker side,
Mhm.
Mm.
natural hair. Like there was a kind of a look they were going for. So I struggled a lot with my identity, with how I looked. You know, am I too thick? Do I, you know, is my
Mhm.
hair, should my hair be straight? You know,
Mhm.
just always judging myself constantly. You know, I've been in auditions and sitting in casting directors offices and overhearing them on the phone when I'm
Mhm.
about to go in. You know, we're
Mhm.
out there getting ready to go in for an audition, and you know, you
Mhm.
hear the casting director on the phone like, oh, we want her to be black but not black, and you're like,
Wow.
well, what is
Right before
black
you
black?
walk into the
Right
room.
before you walk into the room. So
Mm.
it takes a high level of mental strength to
Mhm.
Yeah.
be a part, and they call it thick skin. But
Mhm.
you know what happens is you develop the thick skin, but your body is holding on
Yes.
to, like, you know, they say
The
the
body
body keeps score.
keeps
So
score.
yeah, so your body's holding on to this disappointment, this idea of like, okay, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I'm not pretty enough, maybe I'm not talented enough, maybe I made the wrong choice in, you know, this
Mhm.
career. Your
Mhm.
body's holding on to all of that,
Mhm.
you know, and it starts manifesting in different ways. So when I got to LA, you know, I thought I was gonna move to LA in a couple years. I was gonna be, you know, doing my thing. And that did
Mhm.
not happen. It took
Right.
10 years before I got my first lead on a television show, you know,
Mhm.
and took about 8 years before I booked my first television show, like a guest
Mhm.
star on a television show.
Mhm.
Um, and so and then when I got my first show called Rebel by John Singleton was a producer of
Mhm.
that, you know, before I auditioned for that role, I was really in a space where I was like just battling depression, you know, and I'm a Christian, and, you know, I leaned very heavily on my relationship with the Lord. But, you know, we need Jesus and
And
therapy.
therapy.
Like there are certain tools that you
Yeah.
learn by going to therapy that is going to help you navigate the day to day, you know. And at that time, you know, I wasn't in therapy. I couldn't afford a therapy. I couldn't afford health insurance.
Yeah.
I didn't have any money. I wasn't working. I was
Yeah.
just auditioning, you know, and
Mhm.
that puts another part of stress on you, you know. So
Mhm.
um, when I went into that audition, you know, it was like I was happy to be there, but of course, there's a part of me, there's a desperation in me
Indeed.
as well. And sometimes it can work to your advantage, you know, because you're so hungry to get that thing. But then sometimes it can work against you as well. So
Mhm.
went into that audition, and I just feel like God used John Singleton to give me the hope that I needed to just keep
Mhm.
going. And at that
Mhm.
time, I didn't know I was going to actually book the part. Like, I thought, I'm like, oh, you know, he loved me. He was very complimentary. Like, I left the audition in tears. When I got
Mhm.
outside, I was like, oh my God, this is the best audition of my life. I know I'm not going to get this part, but at
Mhm.
least
Mm.
I know that maybe I am meant to be here, you know?
Right.
And I ended up getting the part, you know, a couple months later, and I ended up working with him. And then we did one season and it got canceled, and I got very, very
Mhm.
depressed. And so what
Mhm.
I realized although I do feel like God used him to encourage me, I said, I have to find a way to anchor myself to something outside of what's happening outside of me. You know,
Yeah.
I cannot anchor myself to exterior things. My anchor has to be inside of myself. You know,
Mm.
I have to be anchored to something that no matter what is happening around me, and the Bible talks about being rooted and grounded and planted, and no matter
Hmm.
if the wind blows and the storm comes, that tree is not going to waver because it's rooted in the ground,
Mhm.
you know. And I was
Mhm.
like, I have to find a way to where I never go through this kind of depression again,
Mm.
you know, when something doesn't work out, because I have to find a way to detach
Mm.
Yeah.
and attach myself to something greater than
Hmm.
being given an opportunity, or an opportunity being taken away.
Mhm.
Because if I give my power to those who can take an opportunity away from me, then I'm never gonna become who it is I'm really destined to be. So I looked for ways to encourage myself, but then also encourage others. So I started something called um uh the Thriving Artist, and it was a little similar to what you guys are doing. It wasn't on sets, but
Yeah.
you know, we it was like a focus group where we got together, like a small group, to talk about how we can thrive in this industry
Yeah.
emotionally,
Mm.
because there's tons of classes about how to be better at your craft, and people,
Hmm.
you know, workshops, and them telling you, "Oh, I can teach you this technique and that technique and all that." But you can have all the techniques. You can be the best actress in the world. Meryl Streep talks about when she was going to audition and they told her she wasn't pretty enough.
Yeah.
You know, this is the stuff that we're encountering, things that like chip away at the core of
Yeah.
who you are. And if you don't have a foundation and an understanding of who you are, it is easy to get lost. And some of my favorite, Whitney Houston is one of my
Uh,
favorite singers
I
of all
love her
time. Like, I
still.
always say, like, my mom, who is a singer, taught me how to sing, and then it was Whitney Houston, because I was in my room listening to her records over and over again, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
And when she passed away, I was devastated,
Yeah.
like I knew her.
Um,
But what it did is what it did for me, losing her, it
Mhm.
told me, okay, she has one of the greatest voices of all time. She
Mhm.
like has been abundantly blessed. But if you don't have people around you that are gonna really like steer you in the right direction, give you the encouragement, not take from you, you know,
yeah.
if you don't have something else, it's gonna be easy for you to get on drugs, get in relationships you shouldn't
Mhm.
be in, get off course,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
So the Thriving Artist, you know, and that kind of developed into my artist empowerment class, like, you know, empowering artists to take ownership of their career and
Mhm.
not put it in the hands of other people, and how to
Mhm.
manage stress, how to manage rejection, you
Yes.
know, how to just feel empowered in their journey, you know.
Yes.
Because I think in this career, that has been the hardest thing. It's when I get on set, that's
Yeah.
I mean, doing my job is
Mhm.
actually the easiest part.
Mhm.
It's navigating the personal things, you know.
Hmm.
So
Mhm.
when you're on set with other, you're on set with a whole bunch of artists, whether you're in front of the camera or behind the camera, everybody's artists.
Mhm.
And I believe that artists have just a very special gift that God has given us, and
Yeah.
that one of those gifts is to be empathetic. We're all empaths. We're all taking in energy. And I think that's the reason why it's important to have an opportunity to be able to talk to a therapist, and, you know,
Mhm.
have somebody on set that can sit down
Yes.
with you when you have a hard
Mhm.
day to talk through, you know, these things. First ADs, a lot of
Mhm.
them don't live past 50 years old. I don't know if people
Mhm.
know this.
Mm.
Mhm.
Like,
Come
the
on and drop
level
the
of
statistics.
the level of stress like that
Yeah.
these people are under. They're not getting
Yeah.
rest. They're not, I mean, we went
It
on
shortens their
strike, or the
lifespan.
Mm.
it shortens your lifespan. So it's a blessing to be able to do what I do, but I
It's a
have
brace that
had,
goes with it.
it's a grace that goes with it, and you have to take care of yourself.
Mm.
Yeah,
You
you
just,
you just said something there, but when do you have any more questions? Because Danielle just answered all of our questions with
That
that. I'm
you
like,
should
what
see
do
me.
I
I'm,
ask her?
I'm
Because
checking everything off.
I
Like, okay.
like, what do I ask her next? I mean, she literally, like, we could get off now. She literally broke it down so well. I'm like, Psh.
I do.
But I want to
I
go ahead, Wing.
no
Go
no.
ahead.
Go ahead, Candace. That's fine.
When you talk about identity, right? Because a
Mm,
lot of times people put a lot of time and energy into the craft. And I always say this, the mind is one of the most powerful parts of our being and it's also the most fragile.
mm,
mm-hmm.
Dealing with constant criticism, rejection, is it after that experience with John Singleton, after Rebel, that you realize I have to do something different? And how have you sustained that
Sure.
difference for yourself?
Yeah. You know, well, I went to therapy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And honestly, there was a lot of things from my childhood and things like that that I had to work through as well that has helped me in my journey, because now I'm no longer, or it's not, I'm not doing it as much. I'm not looking to be loved through how I perform,
mm,
you know?
Mm.
So because of the things I went through as a child, I always use this analogy from Forrest Gump. I love Forrest Gump, one of my favorite movies. And the part where he has the braces on his legs and Jenny's like, "Run, Forrest,
mhm,
run," when the guys
mhm,
are chasing him and he starts running all weird or whatever. And then as he keeps running, all of a sudden his legs start working and those braces start to come off. Well, when the things that I endured as a child, I feel that God gave me a grace. And part of
Yeah.
his grace was to give me all these talents,
mm,
you know, and those braces, those talents were my braces. Those were the
mm,
things that
Mm.
kept, like, helped me on my journey through life, that inspired me, that let me know, like, this is not it for me, you know, and I have more to offer the world. Those were my braces. And I used those braces to make myself feel good about who I was, you
yeah.
know, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, everybody's going to like me. I'm talented, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
like if I
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
perform well, people will like me and people will love me.
Absolutely.
And when I got to a certain point in my life and God said, I need you to run, and I need you to run without the braces. I
Mm,
need your talent and your gifts are not going to be the thing to sustain the woman that you are. They're going to make room for you.
mm,
Yeah.
Your gifts are going to make room for you, but you got to have something else once you get in
In
those
the
doors,
room.
or once the room is made. Right. Once that space
Yes.
is made for you, then you got to have something else. Like, who you actually are has to be strong enough to sustain you. So I think I stopped using my talent and my gifts and wanting this career so bad to be the thing that made me whole
mm-hmm.
or important.
Mm.
It's like, no, who am I really? What is
Mm,
God's purpose
right.
in my life? Because it's not organized crime.
Mm,
Ooh,
It's
mm.
not
I
playing
got
high on a
chills,
bill.
Danielle.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not
It's all right.
playing any of these roles that I've
Yeah.
played. Like, it's a vehicle to touch people, and I thank
Mm.
God, and it's probably a part of my purpose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely part of my purpose, but it is not
The totality.
who I am. Yeah, it's not the totality. And through healing myself, God began to reveal to me other ways. And that's where the artist empowerment came from. You know,
Mm-hmm.
my podcast, All the Women I've Been, like, these are the things I feel God has purposed me to do, you know, to touch people outside of just performing or being famous or being celebrity. Like, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that's those are like, those are small things, you know,
Yeah.
in the big scheme of things. So I think the more I attach to, I also have, me and my best friend started something called the Her Experience, which is like a women's collective
Mm-hmm.
where we
Mm,
we host these brunches and events for women who are in positions like we are, where
Yeah.
we're successful, and sought after, and a lot of times our hearts are ignored
Mm.
because
Mhm.
everybody wants to get something from you. They oh, she has a light. Oh, can you come do blah 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 blah? But nobody's concerned about how we're really doing, you
Mm.
know? So
Yeah.
we started the Her Experience to just love on each other. It's not a networking event. You
Mm.
know, it's just to be yourself, to come and be loved on and celebrated,
Right.
you know? And so these are the things um you know, as my talents are branches, you know, or the root of whatever this tree is, these other things are like the branches that, you know, are continuing to extend out. And I think another thing, I meant to bring my journals down here, but journaling
Uh,
is like a
so
huge thing.
therapeutic.
Okay.
Yeah, huge thing. I have two
Yes.
journals. One is called the 5 minute journal.
Mm-hmm.
Every morning you write what you're grateful, three things you're grateful for, three things that would make the day great.
Mm-hmm.
And when you write what would make the day great, you cannot write anything that is out of your control.
Mm.
So you can't say, oh, my day would be great today if I booked this television show. That
Yeah.
is not in
It
my
goes
control. It's
back
not
to
in my
that
control.
circle of control concept.
Yeah.
What's within your rim of control, what you can influence, what you can change.
Yes, anything I can't change, I have to let go. So but it's
Woo!
hard every day
That's
to
not
wake up
easy.
and be like, what
Yeah.
would make today great? Okay, it has to be something I can't control. So it's like, okay, choosing to be joyful.
Mm-hmm.
That's in my control. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? And so then you write an affirmation, and then at night before you go to bed, you write three highlights of the day and
Mm-hmm.
what you learned for that day, you know? And so since I've been doing that and focusing on gratitude, which I also did before I booked Rebel, when I was really depressed, I was like, I need to start writing down three things I'm grateful for every day.
Yeah.
I think I saw Oprah said that or whatever. And it just lifts you out of the funk that is
And it
so
keeps you
easy
present.
for us to get in, and it keeps you present. And so, you know, there's been life things happening. The
Yeah.
fires in LA, like there's been a lot of life things happening. And writing in that journal every day and focusing on what I can
Mm-hmm.
control, what I'm grateful for, and what I'm learning keeps me from just from focusing on the opposite, what
Right.
I can't control. And then I just got another journal called Dig Deep, and they
Mm.
have a prompt. I just got it the other day, you know, but you know, it asks you questions like what chapter, if you had to name it, this season of your life, if you had to give it a title, like a chapter title, what would that title be? You know,
Okay.
Do
just
you
things
mind
to,
sharing that with us?
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
If it's not too personal?
I will, yeah. But journaling is, I'm noticing, is really something that helps
It
ground me.
does. It
Yeah,
does.
it absolutely does. And having community, you
Yeah.
know, that's what got
Yeah.
me, that has got me through, is having community. And since I got divorced,
Mm-hmm.
I have been happier than I've ever been in my life. I'm not hiding anymore. I think when I was married, I felt so much that there were so many expectations. I felt so much pressure. I wasn't being honest with myself or wasn't being honest with my community.
Mm-hmm.
And I have freed myself of the shame I was carrying, and I have leaned more into being honest and just being
Yeah.
transparent. Not honest, transparent is the honesty and transparency are two
They're two
different
different
things, you know.
things.
And
Yeah.
so being more transparent of where I'm at,
Mm.
being intentional about my relationships with people and knowing who to talk to when. So, you know, I love my parents. My parents are amazing people,
Mm-hmm.
but my parents are emotional like me.
Mm.
I'm an emotional
Mm.
person. I get it from them. They're emotional. So if I call them and be like, oh, this is happening at work, they're going to be like, what? You know, they're going to add to, so I
The
get off the phone with
volcano,
them.
the emotional
Right.
Right.
volcano.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I get off the phone with them and I'm really on one, you know?
Mm.
Whereas if I talk to, you know, someone else that's more, a little more
That can
logical,
ground you.
that
Mm-hmm.
can ground me and still validate me.
Yeah.
They're still validating me, but they're bringing me to a place where it's like, okay, like let's lessen the anxiety. What can you control? Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that has helped me too. Like just knowing who to talk to
Yeah.
and what in what situation, you
Yeah.
know. So now I do talk to my parents about things, but I usually talk to them about certain things after I have come to terms with it so
Mm-hmm.
that when I share it with them, I'm not making them emotional because I'm not. emotion,
Yeah.
I'm not overly emotional about it,
Wow.
um and then I also realized I have anxiety. Like I've had it probably most of my life, and I've just
Mm-hmm.
compensated for it through performing and through,
Mm.
being creative and
Mm-hmm.
staying busy and, all that kind of stuff. So it's like when you get older, it's harder to mask those things. I do believe God gives children a grace
Mm.
because there's so
Yes.
many things happening in their world that they have no
Yes.
control over.
Wow.
So it's like he gives you a grace while you're a child and you're under the tutelage and the roof of your parents.
Yeah.
You're under their control. But once you get to be an adult, you start having kids and stuff, I feel like God is like, okay, I'm gonna lift this grace and you're gonna have to deal with
You're
yourself.
gonna have to be
And
out,
so I have to
out
deal
there
with
now.
this.
To
Yeah,
Yeah.
learn,
yeah,
grow.
yeah.
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 Man, man, hold on. Being aware of who you are, journaling, having a community. I mean, you said a mouthful. You said a lot,
Yeah.
Danielle. And it's so funny because a lot of those questions I have for you, they've all been answered. So,
Right.
but no, but it's a great thing
It
because it was kind
is.
of like self-led.
Yes.
Um, I guess my question to you would be, because you're a series regular, right? And for those who are not really familiar with what that really means, it's like there are tiers of types of actors you have, right? You have your background, you have your day players, you have your co-stars, you have your guest stars. I'm going up the ladder, right? Then you have your guest star. I'm sorry, co-star recurring. Then you have your guest star recurring, and then you might have like a fractional series regular, and then you have your series regulars. This is for television, which is the top of top of the form. That's contract, and that you've hit the top. So a lot of the folks that are tuning in, a lot of folks that are going through the same journey that you've had, they're all aspiring to be where you are, as a series regular. So congratulations for getting there.
Thank you.
My You're welcome. My question would be, what would you share with them? And you've already dropped some gems, but just considering what we're talking about today, which is, being intentional about taking care of yourself, being intentional about, you said you talked about being aware, you talked about community. What other things what lasting voice note would you want to leave them with? In terms of, hey, if you do these things, it will help bring you a step closer to where you'd like to be. And
Yeah,
even though you might make it to a series regular, it's not the full you, but just
yeah. It's the
picking up
dream
that
that you want to
mindset.
realize. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I think I talked a little bit about it earlier, but you can't have an attachment to an outcome. You can't.
Mhm.
Like when you're auditioning, okay, for instance, if you go to the Nike store, right? All those Nikes in there are brand new. They're all dope in their own way. But you're only going to take maybe one or two pair home. You're not buying the whole store. And just because I chose these Jordan 1s over whatever, these Air Maxes,
Right.
it doesn't make the Air Maxes less valuable than the Jordan 1s.
Hmm.
Like they're both dope shoes. It's just that I needed these Jordan 1s. They go better with my outfit. Like,
Right. Nothing
but I
against you personally,
nothing
Maxes.
against the Air Max,
Right.
nothing against the Air
Yeah.
Maxes. Um, or if you're in the grocery store and you're trying to pick nectarines
Yeah.
or something, and
Yeah.
you're picking up a nectarine, and you're like, oh, this one feels good, but it's a little
Hmm.
soft in this spot. I'm gonna put it back.
Right.
Let me pick. You don't take all the nectarines from the
Right.
store. You only picking
Right.
four.
Love that.
Doesn't mean the other nectarines aren't good. They're all nectarines. So
Mm.
that's one of the things I learned in my acting class. So I took an acting class. I went to John Rosenfeld Studios. If anybody is in LA, he's a great acting coach, but his mom was a psychotherapist. So his acting technique and the way he coaches, you also get like a lot of you just kind of get therapy
Yeah. Yeah.
as you're
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Get
the
those
as you're in the
tools, some
acting,
of those tools.
yeah, to
Yeah.
help you navigate, and so I think when I started to detach from outcomes, I noticed I was enjoying the process a little bit more. I
Mm.
was enjoying my journey a little bit more. um I one of my acting coaches who's a friend of mine, I remember when I was really going through it, I was auditioning for something, and before we started rehearsing the audition, I was like crying, talking to her just about how, it's like I keep getting so close. Like I keep testing for these roles. It would be between me and another
Mm.
woman, and the other woman would always get it.
Mm.
And I was just like, oh, what's going on? What's wrong with me? Just dramatic. And she's like, Danny, she said, listen, do you want to go back to just auditioning for recurs and guest stars, and that way you work more often and you
Mm-hmm.
feel good
Mm-hmm.
because you're working and you're making a little bit of money, more often? Or
Mm-hmm.
do you want to wait for that one role that could possibly change the trajectory of your life and your children's lives?
Mm.
She said, no judgment. I'm just asking you what you
Right.
want. I was like, well, I want the one that changes,
I'm shocked you didn't say
your life,
both.
children's life. Right, right. I want both. Right. I want it all. No. I was like,
Yeah.
you're right. Like,
Yeah.
God, listen,
Mm.
it's a catch 22. Like, do I wish that I could be on every little, I be seeing some shows. I'm like, man, I would love to be on that show. Like,
Right. 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 Right.
or
Right. Right.
whatever. And, or
Yeah.
some of them aren't even like lead roles. They're like, the best friend or whatever, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like a
Mm-hmm.
really dope show. And I'm like, damn, I could have did that part,
Yeah.
whatever. But what's for you is for
It's
you,
for
What's for
you.
and
you is for you.
nobody can take it away.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't mess it up
Right.
either.
Yeah.
Right. That's
You
true.
Because
can't,
it's already been ordained for
Mm-hmm.
you. It's already
because it's
been
already
presented for
ordained.
you.
You're gonna get there. You're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Just keep going. Keep the most advice I can give you is, if there's anything else you can think of that you could be doing besides what you're doing, go do that, because that means, like, when I thought about not having a career in acting, I literally just saw a brick wall. That's what I
Mm.
saw. I did not see some other career path, for me.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can see another, like, oh, I like acting, but I actually really want to move to Idaho and have a farm and, grow, grow all these,
Yeah.
if you want to do this, you have to be willing to wait. You have to be willing
Mm.
to be patient
Perseverance.
and perseverance. And the thing is, all of these women and these beautiful actresses that I'm competing against
Mm-hmm.
for roles, and I felt like every time I go out for something, somebody else is getting it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Somebody else is getting the role and not me.
Mm.
Time I
Mm-hmm.
did that, when I think about it, it's like, well, if every other woman in the industry is getting a role but me, that means at some point there'll be no one to cast but me.
Right. Yeah.
It's
So
a
That's a good
perspective
attitude.
change,
I love that
I just
reframing
perspective.
your thoughts
I
around
just
it.
have to stick. I have to stick with
Yeah.
it. You just have to stick with it. And then know, when you get there and you get the opportunity, it's going to be the hardest shit you've ever experienced in your life. So do
Yeah.
not rush
Mm-hmm.
to get there. That's another thing. I was like kind of a stay at home mom auditioning,
Mm.
and one of my homegirls was encouraging me one day. I remember I was looking out the window in a damn daze,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not meant to be a stay-at-home mom. I'm just not. Love my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a great mother, but I ain't meant to be at home all
Mm-hmm.
day doing nothing but taking care of these kids.
Right. Right.
So I'm like washing these dishes. I'm like, oh my God. She's like, Danny, I'm telling you, your time is coming.
Mm.
Cherish these moments that you have with your
Mm-hmm.
kids,
Mm-hmm.
because there's going to be a time
Mm.
when you're not going to be able to be with them every day.
Every day, yeah.
And I was like, you're right. Cut to 2 years later, I'm going to New York to work on Law and Order. My kids are in LA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting on a plane every other week, flying back and forth from New York to
Okay.
LA,
Wow.
so I can take my kids to school and see them,
Mm-hmm.
and then flying back on a red eye to New York, getting off the plane, getting picked up by transportation at
Mm-hmm.
like 6 a.m. in the morning, going straight
Into
to
set.
set after
Yeah.
flying from
LA.
LA, and having to get on
Whew.
camera and remember
Mm.
lines. Like, that is
Yeah.
not fun,
Right.
guys. It's not fun.
Right. Right.
It is exhausting. like to the point where I had like this permanent twitch in my
Oh
eye. My
Lord.
eye would not stop twitching. Like it would just be, I
Mm.
was so
Wow.
tired. I was so stressed. I was going through a divorce at the
Yeah.
time. Like the, you know, the
Mm.
way life is like the thing you're waiting for forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the best of things can be happening and also the
Mm-hmm.
At the
worst of
The
things
worst
can
of
be.
same
things.
time. So you have to learn how to embrace duality.
Yeah. And it
You
sounds like
have
you were
to.
ready. You were
Well,
ready
I
for it
She was
all.
was.
graced. She was graced for it at an early
Yeah.
age.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. So it's
Testament.
just,
So
you just know you're gonna have to sacrifice a lot if
mhm.
you know to get to
We're
where
gonna need a part
you want
two.
Ah,
to be.
'Cause I have so many other questions
yeah.
now. Even in what you just said about sacrifice.
Mm,
Are you willing to sacrifice?
mm,
Yeah.
Because it does change lifestyle. It can shift relationships,
mhm,
right? Not let's not even get on the point about success and what comes with it,
mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Bleachers. It's a lot.
it's
So,
a lot.
whew, yes, we
Thank you so
appreciate you,
much.
Danielle.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Danielle.
Thanks for
much.
having me. I love what you guys are doing. Like
Oh,
I said, it's
Mm,
like completely in alignment with, you know, my heart for artists as well.
yes.
So I know God put us all together for a
bigger
reason. I
purpose.
Indeed.
can't wait to see you
Yeah.
guys in
Yeah, see you in
Miami.
Miami.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
so fun. I got all my stuff. I got my pass. I got my plane ticket. I
You
got my
ready?
hotel room.
Let's go.
I'm ready. It's gonna be
So you guys
fun.
hear it Thursday, June 12th, Laundry being screened with starring Danielle Monet Truitt. We can't wait. We
It's
can't
gonna be
wait.
great. And then
Thank you so
we have a
much.
panel, right? The next
Yes,
day
yes,
on the
yes,
13th. Yeah.
yes. We also have a panel that we're working out. Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. We want people to join us, be there for the conversation and also the experience.
Yep.
So
Yep. It's
we'll
gonna
be
be awesome.
signing off. Thank you so much.
Thank
Um,
you.
we'll talk soon.
All
We
right.
appreciate you.
All right. Bye.
Bye, love.
All right.
That was amazing.
Was it?
I,
It
that was
was it was on
amazing.
top of the chart.
That
It was on we
was
definitely have to do
amazing.
a part two.
We definitely have to do a part two,
Yeah.
but I really hope that everyone receives something from tonight, whether you're in the industry or not. Danielle talked about so many amazing aspects of life in the intersection of success, being in the
Mm,
industry, family
mm,
life, your own
mm,
mental health,
mm.
self-esteem, mental and emotional resiliency,
Yeah.
and having
Yeah.
community. That is all just ingredients for sustaining success, and not just success externally, but success internally,
Mm-hmm.
mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. She literally hit on all aspects of the self-care wheel when it comes to how we pour into ourselves physically, psychologically,
Mm.
emotionally, relationally, occupationally. Like, she literally hit on everything tonight.
She sure did. She sure did. And I appreciate doing this along with you again, Candace. This is
Likewise.
fun. So we're down three, one more to
One
go next week.
more to go. Are you gonna tell everybody who's gonna be next week, or are we gonna
No,
hold
we're
it?
gonna have to they're gonna have to wait till
Gonna
next
hold
week,
it?
just
Okay.
like they
Okay. Okay. I was trying to
Yeah.
help y'all out, but okay, we're gonna hold it until next week.
Yeah, we like the surprise element. But
Yes,
and we want to thank you guys for coming out, and
for
enjoying
sure.
and joining us, for this much needed conversation and keeping it moving forward. So we'll be back next week and look